Hey guys, welcome back to the shop for another week of Saturday Night Special. So we're just getting back from our road trip where we went over to Texas for the Good of the Land Festival, the second annual Good of the Land Fest, and it was a fantastic time. We absolutely loved it, Abby and I. It was a great event. We loved it. And then after that, we went over to Meridian, Mississippi the following weekend to go visit and hang out there at the Soleil Steam Festival, which was another fantastic event. And I've got video of both, so we'll have, I'll be editing together some videos to share with you of both events that will be outside of this SNS. So be looking forward to that. But man, the festival was magnificent. We had a great time. I want to thank everybody that came out to the event, all of our viewers, all of the fans of the YouTube channels, not just mine, but everybody's. But it was really awesome to see so many folks come out there, and come up to us and, want to meet us and shake our hands and talk to us and, tell us about them and their stories and what it is they love about the YouTube channel and the videos and all that kind of stuff. It was really great. So I really enjoyed that. Thank you everybody that came out there. And, it was always a great time to be able to catch up with the other YouTube creators out there as well. And, that's one of the things about this Good of the Land Fest is that it's a great place for all of these different content creators to come together. It's not just about machining or metalworking or welding or blacksmithing. It's about any kind of skill set. It really doesn't matter. There was a leather maker there. There was somebody doing pottery there. Of course, you had your blacksmiths there. There was a company there that was running excavators where people could go out and use an excavator that doesn't do that for a living to dig holes, And of course, you have all your other contributors there. Jimmy DeResta was there, cutting out wooden swords for all the kids. There was a restoration going on at the Vaporus booth where some of the guys, Eric Hanchel Rescue, he was involved with doing a restoration on a drill press. So there was just lots of different activities going on, and it was just a fantastic event. Essential Craftsman, he was there. He was like me. He just wanted to come and hang out with everybody and meet and greet and talk to everybody. But just an awesome event, and I really hope that it continues to grow. I really hope that Justin can make this an annual event and keep it going. And I think the location of where the Good of the Land Fest was this year is a great place to hold that, because there's so much property there that everybody can kind of spread out and you're not on top of each other. There's a lot of good parking and just a beautiful piece of property there in Temple, Texas. So I'm gonna do my part to help promote that event next year, and I'm definitely going to be going back and maybe even thinking up a good way to maybe contribute just a little bit more to that event in the years to come. So it's going to continue to grow, and I really do encourage, if any of you guys out there have a skill that you would like to come and participate in the Good of the Land, be sure to stay in touch with Justin and be a part of it. Sign up and be a contributor and be a host for the festival, and maybe we'll see you out there next year. I do want to give a big thanks to Gerstner for wanting to be an event sponsor for the Good of the Land Fest. They contacted me and they wanted to be one of the sponsors, and they sent me the chest. It was the Style 1600 handy tote chest that they had given to me to raffle off during the festival, which I did. So we've got some footage of that, and that was really cool of them. But they do have a promo code that I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of, and I'll have it up there on the screen, so you can get you one of these Style 1600 chests for 30% off if you would, if you're interested in one of these. They also have their, they still have another promo code, ABOMB79, that you can get you 20% off any made in USA product there at Gerstner if there's something that you're looking at, a tool chest or some hardware or things like that. All right, so for today I want to go ahead and show you mounting up we got the FlexArm mounted behind me right there. I got some footage of that. I did that just right before we left for Texas, so I'm going to share with you that footage and whatever else I can find to throw in this SNS, okay? But I got lots of good videos that's going to be coming at you real soon, so just stay tuned to the channel, and hopefully you're going to enjoy today's video. Today I'm going to see if I can get the new FlexArm machine mounted up on my heavy work table in there. So what we got to do, this is the actual mount for it right here. This is what gets mounted to your table, and then so the machine slips down over the shaft just like this. All right, so pretty simple task, really. We're just going to get this over there onto the table, clamp it. We'll transfer punch to 4 holes, and that'll be it. We'll just drill them and tap them. I'll use my my mag drill to do that. And then once that's done, that's the easy part. The hard part is actually going to be getting it picked up and mounted, because the total height of the machine is actually taller than the amount of height that I have available from the table where this is mounted up to the chain fall on the A-frame there. So not really sure how I'm going to tackle that yet, but we'll get it figured out. I may even have some help show up later on the day, and we might be able to just kind of get everything, two or three people on it, and get it mounted over there on the table by hand. So we'll see. Let's go get the table drilled for that flange. We're going to position this on the very corner of the table here, and that will allow me to actually position the flex arm, the whole body of it, either this way along the table or this way along the table, because it takes up about 26 inches of width right there. So I'm just going to put it right here in the corner, and I think that's going to maximize my table space. Just going to line it up right close to the edge there. Transfer it. And by the way, this hole here is actually going to be drilled and tapped in the center of the leg underneath the table there. I measured it to make sure that we were following, not going to be going down the wall of the leg underneath. This is my old mag drill that we'll be using to drill and tap the table here with. This is a tool that belonged to my dad and my granddad. It's always been a workhorse around our shop, and we used it for many jobs, especially portable jobs like this, you know, the table, or if we were outside, you know, working on something, a piece of plate steel that needed to be drilled and tapped. But it's always been a handy drill. And recently I showed it being used over on my trailer tongue where I was drilling for the toolbox there. And I learned a new trick that I never knew about this drill, thanks to all my viewers. And you know, even over on the Instagram, I had people commenting. So let me show you what I figured out. So let's go ahead and activate it. Let's energize the magnet. So now it's stuck. It's there. All right. I never realized that this thing actually had a reverse. So everybody informed me that understands these drills, that this ring right here, you can twist it and make it go into reverse. So that's how it's always been right there. So I started playing with it, and I realized you can take this ring, and it is really hard to move, and twist it the other way, and you've got reverse. Now I will say that this thing is, there's no telling how many decades that has been in that position, so it was pretty well stuck there. And it took me a couple minutes to get this thing kind of loosened up so that it would go into reverse. So you've got a neutral. I believe that's right there. You got a neutral, and go over a little further, and you got reverse. So thanks to everybody that told me about that trick. I really appreciate it. Always nice to learn something new. You can see just how tight it is to grip that thing. So we'll get it centered up using my center point right here, each of the punch marks, and then we're going to use a 27/64 drill bit and then a gun tap to power tap it. whenever I'm using the mag draw, I like to use that CRC True Tap. It works really good, foamy, so it kind of stays right there where you want it. Let's see, trigger. Okay, that's it. So let's reverse it. Got it over far enough. Awesome. I had 3 bolts the right length, and I had one that was a little bit longer, but it's gonna work, so we're gonna use it. We'll give it a shot with the old crappy engine lift here and see if I can get it up high enough to land it in there. Just might do the trick. I need a little bit less on the strap to get it up high, as high as it'll go right there. I might have it this time. We got 2 equal length straps coming up each side, and it should shorten it quite a bit from what it was. So close. Well, I was really trying to slide it down over that, but I guess the logical thing to do from here is to unbolt that and just slide it up in here and then see if I can get it bolted to the table. All right, this might work here. Let's see if we can get one of these started to kind of keep it from walking. I think we got it now. Get these 2 bolts down in there and that'll hold it in place. Okay, there we go. We're sitting on the table now. We'll go ahead and get these other 2 bolts in here before we let the strap off of it. Just had that 1 bolt left to go in there, and I couldn't get to it. And they are snug. This is the arm right here that has to be locked. Now, I can definitely move it if I need to. You know, if I want to, whenever I use the thing, if I want to move it out there, I can. But it'll generally be locked over here in this position so that it keeps everything on the table and not hanging out off the table. But I can also swing it around this way. Let's see if I can clear. And we can mount, you know, we can clamp it that way also. You know, it's got a long range, so this thing will move anywhere, you know, probably halfway across this table easy, depending on how I got it clamped. But I think that I'm going to keep it pulled over to this side for now until we start using it, and I'll figure out the best place to keep it. But at least right there, it's kind of leaving this front side of the table open for me. I'm going to go ahead and snug it up on the mount here and get it locked in place. All right, there we go. I'm going to do a little bit of leveling. The table is not exactly level. This end is actually low quite a bit. So it's not a precision surface, but I'll be able to get it pretty close. I'm going to use this tongue jack, or not tongue jack, but a toe jack, and use that to pick the table up on this end and then adjust the feet down there. close. All right, so I know that side needs to come up just a touch. Yep. All right, we're going to go this way now. Pretty close right there. I've been doing some basic leveling on this piece right there, and just using my combination square. We've got that bubble pretty well centered both directions right here. So I did loosen it up, and I added a shim here and a shim on that side and tightened it back down, because I could definitely see where once his head, once you push it over, it was trying to fall that way. So it really helped with leveling the table on this side, and then shimming it. We've got it to where it pretty much just wants to stay. Once it comes to a rest, it doesn't keep falling either direction. So I think we've got this pretty square right where it needs to be. I'm going to go ahead and get the 2 hydraulic lines and this 1 electrical connector hooked in, but I will say that I'm still working on the main electrical circuit that I got to get run over here. And my guy, I've been waiting on him. He's been extremely busy, and he finally got over here to look at the job and took an inventory list of what we needed. And hopefully within the next couple weeks or so, I can get him over here and we can start running the circuit to power this thing up. So we'll go ahead and finish our install though, and get our hydraulic lines hooked in. Another wrench that come with it there for doing some adjusting. Alright, there's our 2 hydraulic connections. We also have this air hose for the lubrication. And I'm not going to be having these hooked in all the time because they're going to be sticking out in the way, but we are setting them up now for demonstration purposes anyway. There we go. There's that one. And then we've got this one plug right here. Looks like it goes there. Just like so. And then this one will go in there, but I'm going to wait on this because I don't need it hooked in right now. All right, so getting some things figured out on where this thing is going to work. The tapping arm here. So one thing that's really interesting is this model has a huge reach to it. You see that? So with the mounted arm, this arm right here in that position, I can't, if I want to use this area right here as a working area, I can't actually get down there to it. See, it needs to be back further. So I can definitely make a work area over here in this side, but this is kind of my, my other work area. You see me always do stuff on this side. I kind of like to put it over, at least on this end. So what we'll have to do is actually pivot the arm around the other side whenever we want to go and use this thing. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We'll go ahead and I've got the hydraulic lines just kind of hanging on this arm right there, so they actually pull on this thing, and that's one of the reasons why this is falling back the other way, is that the weight of those hydraulic lines are pulling it around. I just wanted to point that out. We come back around there, it centers itself up well. So what we can do is loosen up this arm right here. And we can just pivot it around. Let's just say right there. Go ahead and snug them back up. And now we've got a work envelope right here on this side of the table. So my plan is to mount one of my big vices up here. I'm probably going to be using probably going to go ahead and mount this big 8-inch Kurt right over here. I'll have it mounted. We'll drill and tap a couple more holes where we can mount the Kurt there and utilize that, since I've got 2 of those 8-inch milling vices. The other one's the TMX. So that's just, I'm just kind of learning the machine here and figuring it out, what we're going to be having to do once we go to actually use the thing. So we can pivot that around a little bit more if we need to get a little bit more work envelope here on this side. But real excited to see this thing mounted up though. It's really cool, and it's just, there's no effort at all really to move this thing around where you need to. It's got the dampeners all the way around it so that it's just real easy to pull it where you want. So there we go. We've got her mounted up, and next phase is getting the power run over here so we can get it actually working. And of course I need to get my vise over here, so we'll probably figure that out pretty soon too. I want to let you guys know about some upcoming scraping classes that's going to be held by Mr. Richard King of King Way Scraping. That is the class that I attended about 3 years ago up at Keith Rucker's shop. And so Richard actually has a class scheduled that's going to be in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. That is in Northwest Florida, not too far from here, about a couple hours down the way. So any of you guys that's in the southeast, area of the country, this would be a good opportunity to come if you guys are interested in learning how to scrape and learn the process of proper machinery rebuilding. So I'm going to be there for that class because I want to continue my education with scraping and keep my practice going and hopefully keep learning some new things there. So I'm going to be going. My friend Lance Baltzy, he's going to be there and he's going to be assisting in teaching that class. Lance has been practicing scraping for about 6 years now, and he's a great guy to learn from because he really understands this stuff well. And hopefully Keith Rucker is going to be able to attend the class as well, but that's kind of pending depending on his work schedule, so that's not a definite yet. But anyway, Richard is looking for some students to sign up for that class, and I wanted to help him out and let all my audience know that we are going to be attending that class there in January of next year. So I will have the information on screen here for you to click on and look in the video description down below for the proper links. I believe it's handscraping.com, but I'll have all the info there that you can click on and send Richard an email. And in the subject line, if you want to go to the Florida class, put Florida 2020, and Richard will know that you're emailing him about that class, and he can give you all the information, including the cost, the down payment, and you know, all that kind of stuff. He does offer a 3-day class as well for some of you guys that may not be able to attend the full 5-day, 40-hour class. Okay, so I want to let everybody know about that. It is a class that you'll be learning how to use the hand scraper. All right, you start with that for the first 2 days, learning how to hand scrape, and then once you get that figured out, then you move on to the power scraper, which is this guy right here, the biax. All right, and then the last couple of days he starts teaching machinery alignment and rebuilding practices and that kind of thing. All right, and he does have some other classes scheduled for next year. I'm going to pull that schedule up real quick on my phone. So, you know, we got next January for Florida, and he's going to be having a Texas class as well. That's going to be February the 21st through the 25th. And I don't see the actual location, but it is about an hour. It's an hour outside of Houston, if I remember right. Okay, so he's got Texas, and then he's got possible California and Alaska rebuilding classes for next year. I don't think that there's any date set for that. You can just email him and ask him about that. He's also got a New York training class scheduled as well. I don't think there's dates on that. It's just they're talking about getting one set up in New York State. Okay, so please reach out to Richard, and he can answer any of the questions that you might have as far as the classes. All right, so anyway, I hope a few of you guys will sign up for the class. It is limited to 10 people, and I believe as of filming this, he has 4 already prepaid or put their deposit in anyway. And I believe it is a $300 deposit to get your seat in the class. All right, and I think he's looking for 10 students total. So anyway, hope to see you there. All right. So speaking of Richard King, I picked up 2 of his straight edges here. These are the first 2 that I've ever owned, and they are going to be projects here for the shop. And I specifically want these to be shaper projects, and once we get them cut in, they're going to be hand scraped. So there's possibly one of these, or I don't know, maybe both. I'll take them both with me. I would like these to be the scraping projects for me during the class. So for anybody that don't know, these are straight edges. These are called camelback straight edges, and these are your reference surface whenever you're doing machinery rebuilding. So these are pure cast. These are not machined, and what you will have is a machined face right here. That's going to be, it'll be machined and then precision scraped in, and you'll have, you know, this will be checked against a known standard, which will be, you know, a big granite surface plate. So we got both of the 24-inch models that Richard has made right here. He has these cast up there in the north somewhere. He has a foundry locally that he has these cast and sells them. He's got an eBay store where he sells these things. And so this is the HKA 24, which has the angle there on it. You can see we got the dovetail angle. This is the side that you would use if you're checking dovetails, such as a Bridgeport or any kind of dovetail, cross slide, something like that. And this is the HK24. Even though there is an A right there, he says that they're all cast with the HKA, but this one is just without an angle, so it's really just the bottom. But I plan on machining the 3 sides on it anyway. But I checked them with the straight edge, you know, all these ribs along here, and everything seems to be pretty dang straight. And before I start machining the bottom, I think my plan of attack that I want to do, I don't know if this is how other guys do it, but this is the way I'm going to do it. And I told you this is going to be a shaper project. We're going to set these things in the shaper, and I want to go ahead and machine all of the ribs square to each other, have a machined face on these on both sides. And we'll do both of them that way. We'll lay it in the vise. We'll clamp them in the vise, and I will cut both sides of the ribs. Just clean them up so that they're square and that we're not on the original cast surface. So we'll do that on both. And then once we do that, we can flip them over into the vise, and we'll have 2 parallel sides that we can clamp into the shaper vise there. And then once we do, like this one right here, we'll be able to cut all 3 sides at one time. I'll be able to cut the bottom, we'll be able to cut the side, and we'll be able to cut this angle over here on this side because of my automatic downfeed on the shaper head. I mean, you can manually control it on any shaper if you don't have automatic downfeed, but that makes it so sweet. I'll be able to set that angle, whatever this is. I haven't measured what the exact angle is, but we'll set it to that and have a tool underneath here and be able to go and cut that. So I'm real excited about doing that. I want to hopefully get started on these guys pretty soon and get them cut in. I'm actually going to clean them up first. I would like to, we'll get them de-rusted, get them cleaned up, and then once we get them machined, I'll actually put a nice looking paint job on there. I haven't decided on a color yet. I don't know. My first instinct was maybe painting them red, but I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to show you a project there planned for the shop that's going to be coming up pretty soon. So as I said, you can buy these from Richard if you send him an email or look on eBay. He's got them listed on eBay. So the HK24, this guy right here, is $385 plus freight, and then the HKA that's got the angle there with it is $425 plus freight, and they all come like this, so that none of them are completed. It is meant to be a project for anybody to machine it and hand scrape it in flat. All right. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Looking forward to getting started on this. Here's a demonstration on how these things will be machined once I actually machine them. I'll make sure that it's clamped in there good. And we'll be able to get the top, the side, and the dovetail all in one setup once we get the other side machined the way we need.